The void being blown up is still something I don't entirely agree with. Although the new and improved void relic system is a bit better when it comes to chances of getting what you want, that doesn't mean that every other aspect of acquiring primes has been improved. The reason why the old void system worked was because it was simple. New keys were never introduced, so there was no need to worry about having to spend time in the future having to grind up for newer ones. Keys could be gathered en masse in order to prepare for the grind first that comes with new primes, and because of the stockpiling, they could also easily be sold. With the simplicity of tiers for keys, remembering where specific prime parts drop wasn't as much of a hassle as it is now. Of course, the void key system wasn't perfect. For one, key leechers were common. Joining a random keyshare squad was sometimes anger-inducing, because it was common to have someone leave the squad the moment it was their turn to spend a void key. Secondly, the drop rates for everything were intangible. Being unable to alter your chances of getting the prime part you want meant that you could either get lucky and use up only a few keys, or you could spend multiple hours in the void, getting forma after forma. In addition, running void keys when going for specific prime parts was mundane. Going through the exact same tile set over and over just for that one part you need was boring to say the least. The boredom also got amplified for those prime parts that only dropped from one and only one void key. In other words, while void keys were simple to use and gather, running them over and over made the game feel more boring than it needed to be. Meanwhile, the void relic system was released later down the line in order to improve on the void key system. While it did bring some new things to the table, it didn't fix everything. The dream was that void relics would render the prime vault non-existent, because more relics would result in more places to put prime parts in. As you know now, that wasn't the case. Void relics made farming a lot more bearable, as the void fissures they're used in aren't the exact same areas like the void keys were. Farming for prime parts is still boring of course, but void relics made farming a tad more diversified. Void relics also introduced the ability to manipulate your chances of getting better loot, something which is a welcome change to farming. Even if it's something as small as increasing your chance of rare loot from 1% to 10%, that still cuts down the amount of time you would potentially spend on farming. However, void relics introduced new problems. The most obvious issue is that way too many relics exist. The simplest way to look at how many relics there are is to look at this list. This is the list of every relic that has been sent to the Prime Vault. Obviously, that's a shit ton. The excessive amount of relics means that remembering where everything has not only become a hassle, but harder for no apparent reason. Even now, I still find myself hopping on the Warframe wiki to look up where a prime part drops, because I don't know where the fuck anything is anymore. Secondly, it's that relics introduced a new layer of grind. Getting void traces to improve your relics, while it is indeed useful, it just takes up more time to do. Yes, getting void traces is not required by any means, but the underlying issue is that with the wide variety of relics available, you are likely to spend traces when you're going after a rare piece of loot. The problem with that is, you are limited to how many traces you can get, something which is based on your mastery rank. Another problem is that you get a random amount of void traces from doing relics, ranging from only 6 to 40. This means that in order to get just even 100 traces for a radiant relic, you'll take a minimum of 3 relics or a maximum of 17 relics. Grind on top of grind is never a good thing, and it's not something that anyone wanted. While void relics are somewhat better because they allow players to amplify chances of getting good loot with void traces and because they encourage players to farm together to maximize better loot chances, they're still not a straight upgrade over void keys, due to how many fucking relics there are and due to how even relics themselves can be vaulted. In other words, I still slightly prefer the void key system over the void relic system, due to how simple it was. Thank you for watching.